In a twist no royal watcher saw coming, Lady Louise Windsor, the quiet, book-loving granddaughter of the late Queen Elizabeth II, has just accepted the HRH title she once turned down. Yes, you heard that right. She is now officially Her Royal Highness Princess Louise of Edinburgh. But here's the shocker. This royal revival didn't start in the palace boardroom. It started with one man, Prince William. His personal intervention changed everything. What did he say? Why now? And what does this mean for the monarchy's future? Buckle up. This is a royal shift no one expected. A royal shift no one expected. Lady Louise Windsor, once seen as the quiet royal in the background, has made a move no one saw coming. After 20 years of life outside the royal spotlight, she has officially accepted the HRH title she once turned down. But this isn't just a formality. Louise will now be known as Her Royal Highness Princess Louise of Edinburgh. Sources say this decision wasn't random. It was a deliberate shift, following a quiet yet pivotal gesture from Prince William himself. The change was never formally announced by the palace, but insiders confirm it's already in place. Louise's name has begun to appear differently in internal communications, and several engagements are reportedly being prepared for her. It's a soft launch into royal life, but one that comes at a time of major transition. The House of Windsor, now reduced by scandal, illness, and exits, seems to be reshaping from within. Observers have long viewed Louise as the wild card of her generation. Raised largely away from royal duties, she embodied the private path Edward and Sophie wanted for their children. But this unexpected turn suggests something bigger at play, something strategic. Accepting the HRH style changes her status entirely, placing her directly within the system she once sat adjacent to. Behind this move lies a complex mix of loyalty, timing, and subtle royal power plays. And at the center of it all, Prince William, who seems to be rewriting the future, one quiet decision at a time. Louise's sudden shift wasn't born in a vacuum. It followed a chain of subtle moves behind palace walls. At the heart of this transformation stands Prince William, who, in the face of a shrinking monarchy, made a bold and personal decision. If the monarchy was going to survive, it couldn't afford to lose another young royal. And William, now stepping deeper into the role of future king, wasn't about to let that happen without a fight. Prince William's bold intervention. Faced with a thinning bench of senior royals, Prince William knew time was running out. According to palace sources, it was William's direct intervention that sparked Louise's change of heart. No royal command, no formal request, just a personal conversation between cousins. He reached out quietly but firmly, offering her something no one else had before, a tailor-made role that respected her values and lifestyle. William reportedly pitched it as a new kind of royal duty, modern, flexible, and impactful. He emphasized causes close to her heart, such as youth, education, and the arts. It wasn't about crowns or ceremonies. It was about shaping the future. Louise, initially hesitant, listened carefully. Her sense of duty had been dormant, but not gone, and William knew exactly how to wake it. The timing was no accident. William made his move shortly after James, Earl of Wessex, accepted his elevated title earlier in 2025. That event didn't just signal James's maturity, it cast a long shadow over Louise's previous choice to step back. By reaching out then, William tapped into a changing family dynamic. If James was in, could Louise afford to be out? This was no ordinary recruitment. It was William's calculated attempt to secure the monarchy's future from the inside out. And with Catherine's health, Charles's treatment, and Harry's departure, the stakes couldn't be higher. William wasn't just asking for help. He was building his front line. Louise didn't say yes right away. For years, she'd lived without a title, quietly carving her own life. But the combination of William's heartfelt plea, James's quiet acceptance, and the royal family's rising pressure pushed her to think differently. Something inside her began to shift, and that shift turned into action. But what exactly broke through her long-held hesitation? To understand that we need to go back to where it all began, her upbringing, her freedom, and what changed it all. What triggered Louise's change of heart? For most of her life, Lady Louise Windsor was the royal who stayed out of the spotlight. She studied English literature at St. Andrews, loved carriage driving, and only appeared publicly at major family events. Her parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, deliberately raised her away from HRH pressures. They wanted their daughter to live a private life. And for years, that's exactly what she did. But everything changed when the royal family began to shrink. First, Prince Harry stepped down in 2020. Then came Andrew's disgrace, followed by Catherine's medical leave, and Charles's cancer diagnosis in early 2024. With so many royals off the stage, those left behind had to carry more, and Louise saw it all unfolding up close. What truly shook her, according to insiders, was watching William and Catherine struggle under the weight of expectation. Louise reportedly witnessed their exhausting schedule and growing emotional toll. She realized that continuing to sit out wasn't just a personal choice anymore. It felt like leaving her family unsupported. And when James stepped up and accepted his role earlier this year, that unspoken question grew louder. What about Louise? During the family's traditional summer stay at Balmoral in August 2025, the discussions turned serious. That's when Louise began to reconsider. Quietly, privately, and for the first time, seriously. Her upbringing had given her freedom. But now, she saw a different path, one where that freedom could be used in service, not separation. James's surprise move and its ripple effect. When James, Earl of Wessex, accepted his upgraded title earlier in 2025, few expected it to cause a domino effect inside the royal family. But that's exactly what happened. His quiet yet firm decision to embrace duty sent ripples through Windsor circles, shaking long-held assumptions about who would serve next. It wasn't just a title, it was a statement. And for Lady Louise, that statement was impossible to ignore. James's acceptance came at a time when public trust in the monarchy needed rebuilding. His calm demeanor and sense of discipline instantly won praise, especially among older royal watchers who saw him as the future of Edward's line. But behind the applause, there was another story unfolding, one about sibling balance. For years, Louise was seen as the more mature academic one, while James was the shy younger brother. But in March 2025, that narrative flipped. The moment James's new title appeared in the court circular, insiders say Louise felt the shift. Her younger brother had stepped into a world she'd chosen to leave. It wasn't jealousy, it was realization. If James was ready to serve, then perhaps it was her turn too. The balance between them had changed, not through rivalry, but through example. It showed Louise that being in didn't have to mean losing herself. It could mean redefining what service looked like. James may not have meant to influence her, but he did. His decision added subtle pressure within the family, especially during Easter 2025, when both siblings joined their parents at St. George's Chapel. Observers noted how the family dynamic seemed more official, almost as if something had shifted. And indeed, something had. The next generation was stepping forward, one sibling at a time. As James's acceptance reshaped the family atmosphere, the spotlight naturally turned to his sister. Could she really stay outside when even her younger brother had embraced duty? The tension was polite but unmistakable, and beyond the public image, a more private truth was brewing inside royal walls. With the monarchy under strain, every capable hand mattered. That's when the conversation turned not just to who could serve, but who must. And in that moment, Louise's name rose to the top. Why the monarchy needs Louise now more than ever. Right now, the monarchy is stretched thin, with King Charles facing health challenges since February 2024, Catherine recovering from surgery earlier in 2025, and Prince Andrew effectively sidelined. The number of working royals has reached a historic low. Add Harry and Meghan's permanent departure from duties since 2020, and the problem becomes clear. There aren't enough royals left to carry the crown's load. And that's where Louise comes in. She's young, just 20 years old, yet carries the grace, intellect, and composure that royal watchers admire. She's scandal-free, well-educated, and relatable to modern audiences. More importantly, she represents the kind of quiet dignity that Queen Elizabeth II once embodied. For William, who's preparing for kingship amid turmoil, Louise's steady presence offers more than support. It offers hope. Louise's academic strength also plays a key role. Having studied English literature at St. Andrews, she has both the intellect and communication skills to handle engagements with depth, not just ceremony. Royal aides have reportedly discussed roles for her in youth education, literary patronages, and environmental advocacy, causes that align perfectly with William and Catherine's modern vision. In a monarchy desperate for stability and credibility, Princess Louise of Edinburgh could be the fresh, trustworthy face the public rallies behind. She bridges the gap between tradition and modern values, the exact combination the crown needs to survive in the next decade. Her re-entry isn't just symbolic, it's strategic. But not everyone in the royal household saw this coming, least of all her parents. When Prince Edward and Sophie decided to raise their children without HRH titles back in 2003, they thought they were protecting them. For years, that plan worked perfectly. Yet, as the monarchy faces new challenges, their earlier choice now looks like a double-edged sword. What was once a shield for privacy may have become a barrier to progress. And that brings us to their plan, and how it backfired. Edward and Sophie's plan. When Lady Louise and James were born, in 2003 and 2007 respectively, their parents made a groundbreaking choice. Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, decided their children would not use their HRH titles, even though they were entitled to them under letters patent, 1917. Sophie famously said they'd be raised to work for a living, free from royal constraints. And for a long time, that decision seemed visionary. Louise grew up enjoying school, part-time jobs, and an ordinary teenage life in Bagshot Park. James followed suit, attending Eagle House and later Radley College, away from royal limelight. They lived what the family called half-in, half-out lives, royal by blood, private by choice. But as the monarchy began to contract, that freedom came with a cost. The very privacy that protected them also left the royal bench dangerously thin. By 2024, the problem became unavoidable. With Charles's health limiting his schedule and fewer senior royals available, The pressure to activate the younger generation grew. William and Catherine needed help. And for the first time, Edward and Sophie faced the reality that their low-profile approach might have gone too far. Their plan, once meant to give their children options, now left the crown short on support. Now, as Princess Louise embraces her new title, it's clear that the plan has come full circle. What began as protection has evolved into participation. Edward and Sophie's dream of freedom still stands, but it's now intertwined with a deeper sense of duty. The royal future they tried to guard their children from is the very one their daughter is stepping in to save. The true weight of the HRH title. Accepting the HRH title isn't a simple change in name. It's a life-altering decision. For Princess Louise of Edinburgh, it marks the end of privacy and the beginning of lifelong duty. Under this title, she's no longer just Lady Louise Windsor. She's now a public figure of constitutional importance. Every appearance, every gesture, every word she speaks carries the weight of monarchy behind it. The transformation is already underway. Louise will soon join her parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, in select public engagements. Insiders suggest her first solo appearance could take place before Christmas 2025, focusing on youth education or literature, areas that align with her studies at St. Andrews. The palace reportedly views this as her introduction year, where she'll learn the delicate dance of duty before expanding her role. But there's a price to pay. Carrying the HRH style means surrendering a normal life. Personal business ventures, social freedom, even social media, all fall under palace regulation. Louise will face constant scrutiny, the same relentless spotlight that followed Catherine, Meghan, and Diana decades before. It's a life lived publicly, under permanent observation. Yet, despite the cost, those close to her say she's ready. Louise understands what this means. One source told The Times in September 2025, "She's not naive, she's prepared." And in a monarchy craving youthful strength and quiet grace, she may just be the one to carry that weight with dignity. With her title secured and expectations rising, the question becomes, what kind of royal will Louise be? The palace has outlined her future in broad strokes, but no one truly knows how she'll handle the pressure until she steps into the arena. What's certain, however, is that the monarchy has high hopes for her. She's stepping into a role crafted by Prince William, inspired by her parents, and watched closely by the world. Now, it's her move. Louise's new role. Louise's new path blends tradition with a modern twist. According to palace planners, her focus will fall on education, youth empowerment, and the arts, causes she's genuinely passionate about. Her background at St. Andrews University gives her a natural connection to younger audiences, something the royal family desperately needs. Officials are already discussing partnerships with cultural institutions and environmental groups to establish her presence before the end of 2025. One potential highlight: a joint engagement with Catherine, Princess of Wales, in early 2026. The idea is to introduce Louise to royal duties under Catherine's mentorship, pairing two of the monarchy's most admired women. The contrast between Catherine's polished experience and Louise's quiet intelligence could refresh the royal image, showing unity, grace, and renewal in one powerful frame. Behind the scenes, Prince William is said to be personally overseeing Louise's integration into the royal fold. He reportedly told aides that her authenticity is her greatest strength. "We don't need more performance, we need presence." he said during a private strategy meeting in September 2025. For William, Louise isn't just another working royal, she's part of the monarchy's future brand. Still, every move will be watched, every speech dissected, every smile analyzed. The palace knows that in today's world of social media and endless commentary, one mistake can become a storm. But if Louise holds her nerve, she could redefine what a royal in the modern age truly looks like. While the palace carefully prepares Louise's debut, the outside world is already reacting. Her acceptance of the HRH title and the whisper of future engagements have ignited public debate. Is this the monarchy's revival, or just another royal adjustment disguised as progress? The reaction has been fierce, emotional, and divided. But one thing is certain, Louise's quiet choice has stirred a nation that thought it had seen it all. And the response has been louder than anyone expected. The public reaction: praise, shock. The news of Princess Louise's title acceptance broke quietly but spread fast. By October 2025, royal watchers across Britain were split. Supporters flooded social media, calling it the comeback the monarchy needed. They praised Louise's humility, her intellect, and her sense of timing. Many saw her as the antidote to scandal, the calm after years of chaos. For them, Louise's step forward wasn't just duty, it was destiny fulfilled. But not everyone shared the sentiment. Critics questioned whether she'd been pressured by Prince William or the institution itself. Did she really choose this life? One commentator asked on BBC Newsnight. Or was she cornered by expectation? The conversation quickly turned political, with debates over whether hereditary roles should still exist in the modern 21st century. It reignited the old argument: duty versus freedom. Still, the majority sentiment leaned toward admiration. Polls conducted in late September 2025 by YouGov showed that 63% of Britons viewed Louise's decision positively, describing her as refreshing, grounded, and authentic. That's a rare number in a time when royal popularity has been slipping. Even longtime skeptics admitted the move could breathe new life into the institution. Whether through admiration or criticism, one fact is undeniable: Princess Louise has become a symbol, a new kind of royal, one who didn't chase fame but earned respect simply by saying yes. With the world's eyes back on the Windsors, one question lingers: what does this mean for the monarchy itself? Every generation faces its test, and this one's is survival. From William's bold maneuvering to Louise's unexpected acceptance, the pieces are shifting. The monarchy is no longer relying on the past to protect it. It's creating a new narrative, one face at a time. And that brings us to the bigger picture: the quiet revolution now taking place behind palace walls. What this means for the future of the monarchy. Louise's return to royal life marks more than just a personal choice. It signals a strategic shift in the monarchy's long-term survival plan. Her re-entry symbolizes a new wave of royals who understand both the weight of history and the pull of modern life. Alongside Prince William and Princess Catherine, Louise represents a generation that values purpose over privilege. This new approach isn't loud. It's deliberate. By bringing Louise back into the fold, William has strengthened his future team, one built not on hierarchy, but on trust. Insiders believe her presence will help stabilize public confidence, especially as King Charles III continues to scale back his schedule for treatment through 2026. Every public appearance she makes will remind Britons that the family endures, not because it must, but because it chooses to. If Louise thrives in her new role, she could become one of the monarchy's strongest assets in the next decade. Young, educated, uncontroversial, she embodies everything the institution needs to stay relevant. Together, she, William, and Catherine could form a trio that defines the next royal era. Credible, compassionate, and quietly powerful. The royal family's story has always been one of adaptation, and this may be its most subtle evolution yet. The world may have doubted there. So, what happens next for Princess Louise of Edinburgh, the royal who said no for years and then suddenly said yes? Her story has gone from background to spotlight in the span of a few quiet months. Insiders say Prince William's direct involvement was key, not as an order, but as an invitation. He didn't pressure her, he inspired her. He reminded her what her grandmother stood for and what her generation could carry forward. That personal touch, from one future monarch to his cousin, changed the course of her royal destiny. Now, at just 20 years old, Princess Louise is stepping into a role perfectly designed for her. She's expected to represent the crown through youth, education, and the arts, causes she's genuinely passionate about. Her first royal engagement could come as soon as December 2025, possibly alongside her mother, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, or even Catherine, Princess of Wales. A new royal duo in the making? The thought alone has royal fans buzzing. But beyond the glamour, this moment carries deeper meaning. The monarchy, worn thin by illness, scandal, and resignation, needs revival. And Louise's emergence might just be the quiet restart it's been searching for. She brings a rare combination of intellect, humility, and poise. Qualities Britain hasn't seen in a royal newcomer since Catherine herself joined the family in 2011. There's symbolism here too. A daughter once protected from royal life, now stepping forward to protect it. A generation once hidden, now being called upon to lead. And a family once divided quietly, uniting under shared purpose. Princess Louise isn't just filling a gap. She's redefining what it means to serve in a new royal age. The headlines will focus on the title, the tiaras, the protocols. But the truth runs deeper. This is about legacy, about the future of the House of Windsor standing strong in the modern world. And with Prince William guiding her path, one thing feels clear. The next chapter of the monarchy won't be written by duty alone. It will be written by choice. Because sometimes, the quietest royals make the loudest impact. And now, Princess Louise of Edinburgh is finally ready to speak.